Now it's time for the part of the show that we call Now We Paint. I'm going to change. Now, the first time I began this painting on the very first segment of Fine Art for All, I began with just an outline. It was a blank canvas, and the viewers saw from nothing I came up with the outline of the scene that you see. The next show, I rubbed these broad colors on, yellow, orange, pink to blue. And the third show, I began to throw on this heavy color, the real painting. Today, I'm going to try to show how some outlining will really highlight these figures and bring them to life. And I'm very much hoping that I will have time to do some wild color work at the same time also. And because I have, if you take a look at my beautiful palette of colors, you know, people always ask me, Barbara, why do you use such bright colors? And the answer is because they sell them that way in the store, and they're gorgeous. So I never try to imitate life, I just glory in the beautiful colors that they sell. So let's see if some outlining can make these figures that I painted roughly come alive a little bit. By the way, this painting is of the Israelites walking through the desert, one of my favorite themes. Now, right now at home, I'm beginning the drawings, well, I'm 100 pages into the drawings, for my next biblical mural project. In about 1996, I completed the Bereshit mural, and it's now permanently in Boca Raton, Florida. So if you visit Florida, go to the JCC there, and you can see the Bereshit mural, which is the first book of the Bible, the book of Genesis. I never thought I would go farther, but when I sold Bereshit, which was a 16-foot mural, I began the work on the Shemot mural. And that mural took 2 years to complete. First, I take a Bible, a Hebrew scripture, with English translation. But I have to read the Hebrew a lot because Hebrew is the holy language, and many things are only clear if you also check with the Hebrew side of the page. But I go very carefully, and what I do is in my backs of my visual journals, I draw every single thing that happens on every single page in all of the parashas, or weekly sections of the Torah. So it took me many months. I did the Shemot mural while the Jewish people were reading that book in the synagogues. And when I finished it, I began painting. First, I paint in, very similar to this. First, I make the drawings, and then I rub in the colors, and then I come back with the fine details. The whole project took exactly 2 years, and the painting was debuted at Bet Tanakh, the Museum of the Bible, in Tel Aviv, in 2004, 2005. And then I exhibited it here in Los Angeles at the Sephardic Temple, and there was a tremendous miracle, and it was purchased for permanent display in Jerusalem. So what is the next step? It's to tackle the next book of the Bible, which is a very difficult one. It's called Vayikra in Hebrew, and it's Leviticus, and it's all the laws of the sacrifices, and a lot of other laws too, laws of leprosy, laws of childbirth, a lot of laws of kosher, telling the Bible tells exactly which animals and exactly which birds are kosher and why the other ones cannot be eaten. So right now I'm into the 4th parasha in the drawing phase, and there are 10. So hopefully in about 2 years' time, I'll be able to debut the Vayikra mural on Fine Art for All. And if I have any time at the end, I could show you a few of the 100 drawings. Oh, I wanted to tell, I was in Israel previously in March, and the 2 reasons I had planned my trip actually did not happen. So why was I going there? I decided, well, I'm going to hear. It was the time of the year when all the Jewish people read Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, in the synagogues around the world. And it was just beginning. So I thought, you know what the purpose of my trip is? I will hear Parasha Vayikra, the very first section of this book, which I will now be studying and drawing. I will hear it at the Western Wall, at the Kotel, in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem. And so in March of 2006, that's how I started off my project, and I began the drawings that time in Israel. And I went back just in in June to deliver the mural finally, and I did more work. But I'm not able to finish in the time that we read. That book is long gone. We're reading Deuteronomy, Devarim now. We're getting ready for the end of the cycle, coming up with the holidays. When we finish, every year the Jewish people finish reading Devarim, Deuteronomy, and then on Simchat Torah, we start all over again from Bereshit, from Genesis. So the Vayikra drawings are just going to continue, no matter what we're reading in shul, until I finish them. When I was doing this painting last time on TV, I was going very quickly and rather crudely. And honestly, I think the outlining is so forgiving. It brings everything into a sharp focus. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask my director and people, how much more time do we have for Now We Paint, so that I can know what type of painting to do. 10 more minutes? 10 minutes. 10 minutes to paint? Oh, that's fabulous. I'll get a lot done then. Because I'd really like to go crazy with the colors a little bit. And with 10 minutes, gee, maybe we can finish the whole picture, although I didn't get to those deer. Now, I have advice for people who are living in Los Angeles. I'm working on a public art project, which is right out on the street. And anybody who drives down the street, you don't have to get out of your car. You may even get stopped for the traffic light, and you can enjoy it right from your car. I'm decorating the tree outside my studio gallery, which is on Robertson Boulevard, and it's just at 25th Street, just south of 25th. So like I say, supposing you're heading south on Robertson, past Cadillac, and you get to 25th, then hopefully you'll be stuck at the traffic light, which is Beverlywood Street. And if you look to your right, you'll see a tree. And the tree is covered with sculptures, every kind of sculpture, and they're painted in bright colors. There's horses, elephants, giraffes, cats, dogs, and a lot of ladies. And some of the ladies are even wearing clothing, which I've sewn on them, and which has a little lace trim around and lots of little ribbons. And I have a whole special way that I make wigs for the ladies out of embroidery thread. And the latest project, you really have to drive by and see, is I made all these little ladies, and they're like this, and they're holding the Israeli and the American flags out in front of them, and they're flapping in the wind. And those are also hanging from the front of my building. So if you happen to find yourself driving south on Robertson, do take a look and enjoy the public artwork. It's a little bit of a mini, it's not a Watts Tower, but it's a little mini public art project. In fact, if you notice, I got a little carried away with the materials that you buy for work like that. I am a lady, and I enjoy very much the little ribbons and the trims and the sequins and the beads and the glitter. So tonight I decorated my hat. If you get it, when you get the long shot, you'll see that I put feathers and glitter into my hat. So who knows where this will lead. Another project is painting beautiful queens onto t-shirts and then wearing them around town. Really a life filled with art. For most of my life, I kept a visual journal where every single day I drew what happened that day, and then in the back, how I felt and what were the ideas for my paintings. And because I began in 1969, it traces the whole story of my children and when they were little and they were babies and growing up and all the different things that I've been through in my life. And also many of the paintings, the ideas for the paintings, are in the backs of the books.